Your heart races. Your palms sweat. Your mind spirals into worst-case scenarios. And you know what the crazy part is? Your brain is doing this on purpose. In 2026, over 400 million people worldwide are living with diagnosed anxiety disorders. That's more than the entire population of the United States. But here's what most people don't understand. Anxiety isn't a malfunction. It's a feature. Your brain is working exactly as designed. The question isn't why you have anxiety. The question is why your brain keeps activating this ancient survival mechanism in situations where your life isn't actually in danger. Today, we're diving into the exact neuroscience of why anxiety happens, what triggers it, and why it can feel impossible to control. Let's start with the star player in your anxiety response. A small, almond-shaped structure buried deep in your brain called the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's smoke detector. It's constantly scanning your environment for threats. And just like an oversensitive smoke detector, it sometimes goes off when you're just making toast. The amygdala evolved over millions of years to keep you alive. When it detects danger, it triggers the fight or flight response faster than you can consciously think. We're talking milliseconds. Your amygdala reacts to potential threats before your rational brain even knows what's happening. This made perfect sense 50,000 years ago. If you saw a rustling bush, you couldn't afford to wait around and analyze whether it was wind or a tiger. The humans who hesitated became lunch. The humans with hair trigger amygdalas survived and passed on their genes. Guess which ones are your ancestors? But here's the problem. Your amygdala can't tell the difference between a tiger and an angry email from your boss. When your amygdala detects a threat, real or perceived, it instantly hijacks your entire nervous system. Neuroscientists call this an amygdala hijack. Within seconds, your hypothalamus activates your sympathetic nervous system. Adrenaline floods your bloodstream. Your heart rate spikes. Blood rushes to your muscles. Your pupils dilate to take in more visual information. Your breathing quickens to get more oxygen. Blood flow decreases to your digestive system, because who needs to digest lunch when you're running from a predator? This is why anxiety creates such intense physical sensations. It's not in your head. It's a full-body emergency response. Research published in 2026 from Stanford's neuroscience lab showed that during an anxiety response, your amygdala can be up to 200% more active than baseline. Meanwhile, activity in your prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking part of your brain, actually decreases. This is why you can't just think your way out of anxiety. During an anxiety response, the thinking part of your brain is literally getting less resources. Your brain is prioritizing survival over analysis. It wants action, not contemplation. So if this system evolved for life or death situations, why does it activate when you're lying in bed thinking about tomorrow's presentation? Because your amygdala evolved in an environment where threats were physical and immediate. Predators, rival trivis, poisonous snakes. Modern threats are psychological and future-oriented. Job security, social status, financial stability, relationship problems. But your amygdala doesn't care about that distinction. A threat is a threat, and it responds the same way every time. Here's where it gets worse. Your amygdala has a built-in negativity bias. It's programmed to remember negative experiences more strongly than positive ones. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. Forgetting which berries were safe was inconvenient. Forgetting which berries were poisonous was fatal. So your brain defaults to worst-case thinking. It's not pessimism. It's survival programming. Studies show that negative memories are encoded with more emotional intensity and detail than positive ones. Your brain literally holds on to bad experiences tighter. Now let's talk about what happens to your prefrontal cortex during anxiety. This is the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, planning, and emotional regulation. Think of it as the CEO of your brain. Cool, calm, collected, making strategic decisions. But during an amygdala hijack, the CEO gets pushed out of the room. The amygdala takes over like an overzealous security guard. Brain imaging studies show that when the amygdala activates strongly, it actually inhibits prefrontal cortex function. The connection between these two regions weakens. This is why anxiety makes it hard to concentrate, make decisions, or think clearly. Your rational brain is temporarily offline. A 2026 study from MIT found that chronic anxiety actually changes the structure of your brain over time. People with chronic anxiety show a larger, more reactive amygdala and a smaller, less active prefrontal cortex. The security guard gets stronger while the CEO gets weaker. But here's the good news. Neuroplasticity means your brain can change back. The physical structure isn't permanent. Here's something most people don't realize. Anxiety can actually become addictive. Not because you enjoy it, but because your brain gets stuck in the pattern. Every time you avoid something that makes you anxious, you get a hit of relief. That relief feels good. Your brain remembers that avoidance equals relief. But here's the trap. Avoidance prevents your brain from learning that the threat wasn't actually dangerous. So the fear stays strong, or gets stronger. Your amygdala learns through experience. When you face something scary and survive, it updates its threat assessment. When you avoid it, the threat stays maximum level. This creates a feedback loop. More anxiety leads to more avoidance, leads to stronger anxiety. Your brain literally wires itself to be more anxious. Researchers at Johns Hopkins found in 2026 that this loop can form in as little as 3 weeks of consistent avoidance behavior. But the reverse is also true. Consistently facing your fears, even in small doses, can rewire the circuit in the opposite direction. So what do you do with this information? Understanding the neuroscience doesn't cure anxiety, but it gives you power. First, recognize that anxiety isn't weakness or malfunction. It's an ancient protection system doing its job, just in the wrong context. Second, remember that during an anxiety spike, your prefrontal cortex is compromised. Don't make major decisions when your amygdala is running the show. Third, use techniques that activate your prefrontal cortex. Deep breathing, naming emotions, rational analysis. These strengthen the CEO and calm the security guard. If you found this helpful, do me a huge favor and smash that like button and subscribe. We're covering the fascinating science of human behavior every single day. Your brain isn't broken. It's just running software designed for a world that no longer exists. And once you understand the code, you can start rewriting it.